Look at this.
Kim Jong-un wants to do an interview with Dave Skylark?
He's a fan. Look at him. If that ain't a real story, what is?
Okay, let's do it.
We're going to North Korea!
It was The Interview. It was a comedy, Seth Rogen and James Franco, that turned out to be anything but funny in the end. It depicts the assassination of the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. And then the trouble happened. North Korea launched a massive cyber attack on Sony because of the movie. Thousands of computers were fried, tens of thousands of employees' social security numbers and sensitive emails, embarrassing, humiliating emails about stars and contracts and all sorts of things, all went public. Michael Lynton shared new details about the experience in his book. He told me how it all played out.
I was on my way to work one day and I get a call from our CFO and he says all of our systems had been hacked. What that meant was 70 to 80% of all the laptops at the company were fried, meaning they were unusable. They had then, subsequent to that, the hackers or the cyber attackers had taken out all of the emails and were delivering them in these caches to reporters who had to type in "die Sony," and then all of these salacious emails would come forth. Julian Assange, for a whole separate reason, decided to wiki all of my information. So it was all indexed, and up there was all of my children's medical records. So it was really bad, and the studio came to a standstill for at least a month. You couldn't operate anything. We were all working on text trees and things like that.
And you get the thing started again, and in a sense, it takes a long time, and there's a lot of residual damage for the company, but this book focuses on what you believe was the mistake, a decision taken without careful consideration or self-awareness that causes regret. What was your mistake?
Well, to start with, let me just say, I wrote this book, so everybody knows that, with Josh Steiner. This was Josh's idea, and he came to me rather, and we took a walk on the beach, and he said to me, "Michael, I know you made a big mistake 5 years ago, which was making the movie The Interview, agreeing to make it in a moment and not paying attention to the process that we normally would have gone through. And I think that it's important not only that we talk about your mistake, but I have a mistake too, and I think there's a book in this, because I think nobody actually looks at mistakes." And as part of that, over the next couple of months, we came up with a definition. Josh did the most of the work on this, that distinguished failures from mistakes. Failures are when a bunch of people come together, they take a deliberative, they go through a bunch of analysis, and they make a deliberative choice which has ambition. It doesn't work out. That's a failure. Mistake is, as you describe it, it's very individual, it's in the moment, it's driven by your emotion, and it's driven oftentimes by what we call a schema, which is a way that you've developed of seeing the world that comes from a previous part of your life, and that it crops up every now and again and demonstrates itself.
In the case of the green lighting of the movie, the schema was your background, your upbringing, wanting to fit in, etc., etc.
Right.
Just to clear up one point, in the cold light of day now, schema aside, would you have greenlit that movie? No, and forget knowing what you know about the effects. I mean, you might have put in place better security and all of that, but would you still have made the movie?
Probably not, because if we'd paid attention to the process had, we typically, when we decided to make a movie, would have brought everybody around a table, and at that table would have been a public policy person and our general counsel. And they would have reminded me that we are owned by a Japanese company, and the Japanese have a very complicated relationship with the North Koreans, particularly in that moment when Abe was trying to make a deal with the North Koreans to retrieve the bodies of the 100 kids who had been kidnapped back in the 70s. So probably not. Probably that would have been enough for me to say, no, we're not going to do this.
The book is not just about, it's also about how you deal with the mistake afterwards, not whether you would have made it in the first place or how to avoid making it. It deals with how you deal with the shame.
Yes.
The guilt.
Yes.
The gnawing cancer inside.
Yes. So we make the point that all mistakes are sort of 3 acts. The first act is what happens leading up to the mistake, the schema that you referred to earlier. The second act is actually making the mistake, and the third act is how you deal with the mistake. And that, to me, is as valuable a lesson as anything in the book, because you walk around with a great degree of shame. You sort of, there's what we call the spotlight effect, where you're walking around thinking that you have a big thing on your forehead, that everybody's looking at you all the time, and that goes on for a very long period, when, as you and I know very well, that's not the case. Most people have better things to do than worrying about me.
That's Michael Lynton. We'll have a profitable moment after the break.